Job interview that changed everything. From traffic on 3rd Mainland Bridge to quiet midnight thoughts under an open sky, there has always been one frequency riding with you. Rhythm 93.7 FM didn't just play music, we scored your moments. When you celebrated, we turned it up. When you stumbled, we lifted your spirit. When the nation held its breath, we stayed present, informing, connecting, caring. Across Lagos, Port Harcourt, Benin, Abuja, and every heartbeat in between. One rhythm, one sound, one family. And now, beyond borders, streaming across continents, connecting Nigerians in the diaspora and global listeners searching for the sound of home. We didn't just grow, we grew with you. Through weddings and wins, through heartbreaks and hustle, through late nights, early mornings, and everything in between. Because it was never just radio. It's lifestyle, it's culture, it's connection. More music, less noise, more feeling, more life. This isn't just a station. This is your rhythm. Rhythm FM, growing with you everywhere. From your very first day in secondary school, to campus dreams that kept you awake at night, to that first job interview that changed everything. From traffic on 3rd Mainland Bridge to quiet midnight thoughts under an open sky, there has always been one frequency riding with you. Rhythm 93.7 FM didn't just play music, we scored your moments. When you celebrated, we turned it up. When you stumbled, we lifted your spirit. When the nation held its breath, we stayed present, informing, connecting, caring. Across Lagos, Port Harcourt, Benin, Abuja, and every heartbeat in between. One rhythm, one sound, one family. And now, beyond borders, streaming across continents, connecting Nigerians in the diaspora and global listeners searching for the sound of home. We didn't just grow, we grew with you. Through weddings and wins, through heartbreaks and hustle, through late nights, early mornings, and everything in between. Because it was never just radio. It's lifestyle, it's culture, it's connection. More music, less noise, more feeling, more life. This isn't just a station. This is your rhythm. Rhythm FM, growing with you everywhere. From your very first day in secondary school, to campus dreams that kept you awake at night, to that first job interview that changed everything. From traffic on 3rd Mainland Bridge to quiet midnight thoughts under an open sky, there has always been one frequency riding with you. Rhythm 93.7 FM didn't just play music, we scored your moments. When you celebrated, we turned it up. When you stumbled, we lifted your spirit. When the nation held its breath, we stayed present, informing, connecting, caring. Across Lagos, Port Harcourt, Benin, Abuja, and every heartbeat in between. One rhythm, one sound, one family. And now, beyond borders, streaming across continents, connecting Nigerians in the diaspora and global listeners searching for the sound of home. We didn't just grow, we grew with you. Through weddings and wins, through heartbreaks and hustle, through late nights, early mornings, and everything in between. Because it was never just radio. It's lifestyle, it's culture, it's connection. More music, less noise, more feeling, more life. This isn't just a station. This is your rhythm. Rhythm FM, growing with you everywhere. From your very first day in secondary school, to campus dreams that kept you awake at night, to that first job interview that changed everything. From traffic on 3rd Mainland Bridge to quiet midnight thoughts under an open sky, there has always been one frequency riding with you. Rhythm 93.7 FM didn't just play music, we scored your moments. When you celebrated, we turned it up. When you stumbled, we lifted your spirit. When the nation held its breath, we stayed present, informing, connecting, caring. Across Lagos, Port Harcourt, Benin, Abuja, and every heartbeat in between. One rhythm, one sound, one family. And now, beyond borders, streaming across continents, connecting Nigerians in the diaspora and global listeners searching for the sound of home. We didn't just grow, we grew with you. Through weddings and wins, through heartbreaks and hustle, through late nights, early mornings, and everything in between. Because it was never just radio. It's lifestyle, it's culture, it's connection. More music, less noise, more feeling, more life. This isn't just a station. This is your rhythm. Rhythm FM, growing with you everywhere. From your very first day in secondary school to campus dreams that kept you awake at night, to that first job interview that changed everything. From traffic on 3rd Mainland Bridge to quiet midnight thoughts under an open sky, there has always been one frequency riding with you. Rhythm 93.7 FM didn't just play music, we scored your moments. When you celebrated, we turned it up. When you stumbled,
On Health on Air for expert conversations and practical wellness advice. Get answers from our medical professionals on burning questions you've always wanted to ask. Health on Air, Tuesdays, 2:30 p.m. on Rhythm 93.7.
Good afternoon and welcome to Health on Air on Rhythm 93.7 FM. My name is Louis. Many of us think about our health when something starts to hurt. But what if you could prevent a serious illness? What if you could prevent a serious illness by going for a routine checkup? Today, we're talking about the importance of a regular health screening, why early detection matters, and the simple tests that could help you live a healthier life. Joining us is MLS Damilola Aruwaji, medical laboratory scientist and health writer. She'll be helping us understand why routine health checks should be a priority for everyone. Good afternoon, MLS Dami. Are you there? Damilola, I beg your pardon. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's so lovely to be doing this with you, especially on this topic, health check-ins.
Yes, it is. It is. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So many Nigerians only visit the hospital when they are sick. Why is it important to go for a health checkup even when you are, fine, perfectly healthy?
Okay, so first of all, I would even want to ask, although it's a rhetorical question, but it's something worth looking at. I'd want to ask, is anybody actually perfectly, we say things like, okay, I'm perfectly healthy today, and then tomorrow you're down with a headache, and then you probably go for a checkup, and then you find out that, okay, there's a tumor in your brain, and you're just like, how come? You just started, you understand? So really, especially in this part of the world, there is nobody who is 100%, perfectly healthy. The moment you are born into the world, as you keep growing towards your deathbed, your body keeps deteriorating. So the most you can do, or the most one can do, is to just maintain a particular standard. And that's why it's very important to go for health checkups, because first of all, there's that thing about perfect health, and it's really not a thing. Nobody is 100% in that place where they say, okay, fine, there's nothing to me, like some Nigerians would
I
say.
am surprised that you're saying this actually.
Yeah, it's actually a thing. So
Okay.
as long as environment was inhaling smoke, you are in a noisy environment, there's really
So
nobody.
nobody is perfectly healthy.
Nah, nobody's perfectly healthy. There's always a need for, something just to keep
Oh,
yourself.
all right. Let's talk about some important health checks that every adult should consider.
Sorry, could you take that again, please?
Important health checks that every adult should consider.
Okay, so some of the core tests that I would advise every adult should take is number one. I would say the blood glucose, and
Okay.
that's what we call sugar.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, file and viral markers. I would also okay, and then I would also advise a kidney function test. And then for women, I would really advise pap smear, regular pap smear, and
Okay. Okay. Now, at what age do you think adults should uh, start taking regular health screening seriously?
okay, if we are looking at, if we want to consider adults who we would say are do not already have any history or whatever, because some children are born with congenital issues. So let's say we are not talking about that category. We're talking about people that are, okay on, the standard that we would all call okay, right? So if we are looking at that angle, then I would say from the age of 25, I would
Okay.
start to take your checkups very seriously. Yeah, I would advise.
All right, now let's get into some diseases. We've got high blood pressure and diabetes, and they're becoming more common. Why are they called silent killers?
Okay, so they're called silent killers. I'm going to start with high blood pressure. So high is called a silent killer because in the beginning it doesn't it's something that when it starts, even if you observe it, sometimes people don't even observe that their blood pressure is high until maybe they faint or something very major happens, or maybe they come down with a kidney disease, and then they're like, oh, you've been on this particular illness for many years or something. Not a silent killer, because before it becomes obvious, before it starts to present symptoms that are clearly seen on the outside, they have already caused a couple of damages internally. That's why it's called a silent killer, to just wrap it up in that sense. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some warning signs that people should never ignore, even though they seem minor. Because in the beginning, you said something about having a headache, and then and you go for a checkup, and you now find out that it's a tumor, and you're like, from where to where?
Okay, so the thing is, I wouldn't particularly say that there are warning signs that one should see and then rush to the hospital. I believe that if I start to say that, then we are kind of, annulling the whole idea of regular checkups, even if you are in quotes perfectly healthy. You understand? So I would just say, because the truth is, some things that we take for granted. For example, I just feel dizzy. Oh, you could just go to sleep. It could be something more. Sometimes it could just be, oh, I'm on my period, I'm having severe menstrual cramps, and like, oh, it's just a normal thing, menstrual cramps. Let me just go to bed. But it could mean other things. It could be it could be pre symptoms of ovarian cyst, it could be anything. So if even the little things that we regard as nothing, they are warning signs. Our body, if things like people wake up in the morning and they look at their skin, and their skin is looking so dry, and they're like, oh, I'm so dehydrated, let me just go and drink water. You might just be surprised that is just, there is more to it than just simply drinking water for that day. You understand? So there is no one size fits all for everybody when it comes to health. It's something, it's a broadband, and that's why it's very much advised and encouraged for people to always do checkup, even when you don't see any signs, any warning signs or anything at all. Cough, as much as just a little cough, please, go for checkup. As much as your nose has been running for say more than 3 days, more than 4 days, it's something that you should, go and get checked. You understand? Your eye color is looking different. It's something that you should give you. You don't just say it's because I'm in Nigeria where I'm always seeing smoke every time. You should actually go and get checked. So these are things that anything at all. So what I would just advise is everyone should know their human physiology. Everybody should know what what the normal or what the standard is, what the standard for your eye color is, what the standard of your tongue or your tongue color should be, the standard of your urine. Because sometimes it even starts with your urine color. You could start to tell that something is wrong with my body. I just inhaling or smelling your urine. And that's something that many people, would not want to. Because let me just pee and flush. They don't really go back to check what's the color. They don't go back to check what's the smell. So those are things that we would call warning signs. So I would just advise that everybody should just understand the basic human psychology. You understand? There was a time I was looking at a particular clip, and then they were asking a particular girl, where is or they were asking a young girl, where is your breast? And she didn't know what a breast was. And everybody was laughing
You
about it
serious?
because like crazy stuff. Everybody was laughing about it that okay, she's so young, okay, maybe she's so protected. But I'm like, what level of ignorance or illiteracy is this that you'll be asking a girl where your breasts are and you don't know where they are? So I don't know if it was a skit or if it was actually real, but that's just things that are happening. So I would advise that everybody just knows their human psychology. Know to be, know when you should start seeing your period, know when it's already a problem, when you shouldn't see your just know the basic things, know when you should have.
Know your body.
Yes, just know your body, understand what the rights, what the whole psychology or physiology of the human body is. I'm not saying everybody should become a doctor, but just understand, so that when something is wrong, you can easily pick that this is a warning sign. You understand? So that's what I'd say.
All right, now let's talk real life experiences. I mean, you are in this line of work, you meet a lot of people every other day. Are there people that have come in or come meet you with maybe minor issues and then they end up leaving with major diagnosis?
Oh, yes.
Oh, can we talk about it?
Yeah, it is. I've seen those, real life situations happen like many times. So so one of the most recent ones that got almost everybody in the hospital was so sad was the fact that a particular, young man in 40s, he just walked in and he was just complaining of tiredness and fatigue, and explained tiredness and fatigue, and then he was also complaining of lots of appetite. Just, the regular things. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm hungry. I don't like to eat. Those things that people just usually just look at it and just sweep under the carpet. But for him, probably he has been having it consistently, and he felt, this is not normal. I'm a man. I usually used to eat a lot before, so okay, let him just come, and check. And on running tests, we saw that there were a number of issues. His blood pressure was high, his cholesterol was high, and then they were like over the top high, and then his creatinine level was very high. So we were just like, okay, fine, let's get this guy admitted, because we couldn't even really identify what exactly the problem was. In fact, him into the hospital, to us, we looked at it as a miracle. Like, you actually walked into this place with your 2 legs, nobody wheeled you in, and your cholesterol level is this high. It was already something beyond, what we could, what we see regularly. So we're like, okay, fine, let's get this guy hospitalized. Let's find out what is wrong with him. And you would not believe that between the process of, getting the whole process done, getting his papers, getting payments done, and, in the space of one day, I think he came in the evening, by the morning of the next day, he had already passed on.
What?
So, right. And everybody was like, what happened? This was somebody that walked into the hospital with his 2 legs. Now, people that do not understand the psychology of the physiology of the human body, they say things like, oh, village people, oh,
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Something, you understand. But then, because we know that these things happen all the time, like I said, oftentimes, for example, the liver is a very, very strong organ in the body. It takes thought without complaining. The point where the liver starts to complain, rest assured that that particular liver is already 99.9% gone.
Whoa.
That is. You understand? So if you keep waiting before you do a liver function, keep waiting before you do a lipid profile, when eventually the signs start to show, like the signs start to present evidently, you are almost gone. Like it's like okay, sometimes it's just like a helpless or hopeless case. You understand? So
Okay,
yeah.
so I mean, given this guy, this example that you've just given us, say you're okay, you don't exactly have a headache. How many times in a year would you advise people to go for regular checkups? Would you say 4, 5, 6, 7? I mean, without waiting for something to happen to you.
Yeah, so this also depends. So I would start by saying that if you already have a physical or a health condition, this should be the rate at which you go for routine checkups should be based on your physician or your doctor's, prescriptions. You understand? But then let's say you are healthy. For people within the age of say 18 to about 34, 35 years, I would advise to go for a complete check, not just oh let me check my blood pressure. No, let me I like a complete check, scan, test everything. I would advise that you do that at least once in a year or in 2 years, once in 2 years. And 35 to I'll say maybe 55, you could start to do it once or say twice in a year or in 2 years. And then from 60 above, I would advise that you start to do it yearly, you start to have yearly checkups. Now, this is talking generally speaking, if there are no complications along the way and all of that, but everybody has, what they're dealing with. You understand? So depending on what you're dealing with, if you already have, a condition that they're trying to manage you for, so you're already a known hypertensive patient. Depending on that, you might not this particular thing I just said not apply to you. You have to, be going regularly based on encourages you or prescribes for you.
All right. So there are beliefs that hospitals just like to, make us take a lot of tests just to make money. Is there any truth to that? And why are these tests important?
Okay, yes, there is actually truth to that because I would often say that if there is an original of something, or rather, for the fact that they say that something is fake, it means that there's definitely original to that thing. You understand? So yeah, we have professionals, we have laboratory scientists, we have diagnostic laboratories that are involved in getting this test done. But then we also have quacks, people that just set up their labs or chemists or whatever to just make money. So yeah, we see these things happen where I ask you to go for a test. For example, there was a particular case we had once where the particular lady had she had this ectopic pregnancy and she didn't really know much about it. So she was like, let her ask a doctor.
Hello? Are you there?
You Yes, can you still hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. So then the doctor was like, "Oh, it's an ectopic pregnancy. We have to take out your whole womb, like the fallopian and your womb as well." And because she didn't know much about it, she was like, "Oh, okay, fine. Let me just survive." And so she was just, she had already that, and I said, "Okay, fine. Let me even," and found out from one of her relatives who happened to also be a doctor. And she told me like, okay, this is what I'm taking. I have an ectopic pregnancy. What do I do? That I spoke to a particular doctor and he booked me for complete womb removal
Okay.
in his hospital. And then her doctor relative was like, that you don't need to remove your whole womb to
I mean, I'm
get
not a medical practitioner, but that's shocking. Remove your whole womb.
to understand. So, and then he had to now school her, like, okay, fine, that everything has changed. You just need to get a particular injection, and go through a particular therapy and be under proper monitoring and supervision, and you'll be fine. That you don't have to take out your whole, like, why are you taking out your womb? Like, you won't be able to get pregnant again. And then, and then the doctor her doctor relative now had to get the other doctor's contact to actually find out from him, okay, maybe the lady was not explaining things to him properly, to actually find out what it. And then he called the doctor, and then the doctor was not like, okay, doctor to doctor, you understand the way it is now. Everywhere, everything is and is dry. I bet explained that if he had just given her the injection, it wouldn't have been as expensive as having to pay for surgery. So he wanted her to just pay for surgery, not minding the cost it's going to have on her life, and on her future. She just wanted to get the money. So yeah, there are actually, there are situations like that where it's like from tests, especially if you present with a particular symptom. For example, you're presenting with a particular symptom, not like you are going for a full health checkup. You're presenting with a particular symptom, and then they're probably demanding unnecessary tests from you, simply because they just want the money, or so it does happen like that. So what I would just advise is, if you're going for a health checkup or you have a particular health issue, just make sure you are working with licensed professionals. Make sure that people that can be trusted. Don't, because when it comes to health, the cheap way is not always the best way, because at the end of the day, you'll be trying to avoid expenses and thinking, okay, let me just get something cheaply, and then you find out that you start to pay, you keep paying because they do something really, really messy for you, and then you have to just keep going back and going back and going back and going back. So just make to avoid all of that, where people are just trying to siphon money from you unnecessarily and just get things from you unnecessarily. Just make sure that you're working with medical professionals, like proper people that actually did go to school to study these things. So that's what I would just say.
Okay, so I just heard it. I mean, that story it left me shook. Please, I want to say it's not my business, but it's my business. Did she find that doctor? Did she sue him or something? No, he needs to lose his license, because that's wicked. That's very, very wicked. But no problem. Last question, because we're out of time. What are some simple lifestyle habits that can help people remain healthy and maybe reduce some risks of illness?
Yes, okay, so I'll just say the general things, because some of these things that are general we take for granted. For example, sleeping well, having at least 8 hours of sleep. It's like part of the world people would consider, say, okay, you are sleeping, you are lazy, you don't have work, you don't have a future. If you tell somebody, okay, I was able to sleep 8 hours, they would probably be looking at you like, that's, why don't you have a job or something? But the truth is, you're cutting your life short consistently. If you consistently have a habit of not sleeping
well. Wow, okay.
Advice, having at least a minimum of 8 hours, regardless of your age. Minimum of 8 hours every day, and drinking water. Okay, drinking water 3 to 5 liters a day is very, very important. Okay, so having enough water in your system, and also I would advise moving regularly. So we are the digitalized age, AI age, where we're having a lot of remote works and people are just sitting behind the desk getting job done, and then people are not actively moving their body. So having movement of your body, walking, taking walks, taking runs, early morning runs, those things really do help. And another thing I would also advise is, as much as lies within our power, let's try our best to not skip breakfast.
Intermittent fasting. Okay.
Not skipping breakfast.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, MLS Dami Lola. Thank you for joining us on Dear Louis today. I'd love to have you on another time. I beg your pardon, Health on Air. I'd love to have you on another time. City of Lagos. So you heard what she had to say. Sleep well. Do not skip your breakfast and move your body. Health on Air is every Tuesday from 2:30 all the way to 3. Thank you so much.